Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the BioNexus Health podcast. Today, we will be revisiting with Cynthia. Cynthia is the mom of a child on the spectrum who was actually misdiagnosed as being on the spectrum. We found numerous underlying medical issues, and this little boy is doing really well. But, we let Cynthia give you an update. Now, Cynthia had spoken with us before. Cynthia is a nurse and she's a registered nurse, and she had spoken with us while she was a resident of New Jersey. Since then, they have successfully carefully planned and moved to Florida. I re-invited Cynthia back here so that we can listen to her beautiful strategies and planning that she did to execute this move for a child and a family that is highly susceptible to mold biotoxins. So let's go ahead and welcome Cynthia to today's podcast.
Welcome to the BioNexus Health podcast with Dr. Jodie Dashore, who holds a Ph.D. in Integrative Medicine, is board certified in Integrative Pediatrics, an internationally recognized pioneering clinician, and author. And now here's your host of BioNexus Health podcast, Dr. Jodie Dashore.
Hi, Cynthia. How you doing?
Good, Dr. Dashore. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah. How's Florida today? Yesterday I spoke to a patient in Florida. Where is she? Like West Palm Beach. And she mentioned it was like, almost 100 degrees there.
Oh, yeah, it is very, very hot here. Just moving back from Jersey, still getting used to the heat. The kids love it, of course, but it's a little bit harder for me to get used to, especially the really hot cars and like my glasses fogging up with the humidity. But it's nice. It's hot. It's very hot though.
It's hot and humid, right?
Yes, it is. Like you go outside, instant, your glasses fog up, hair frizzes up.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
So you planned a really beautiful move from New Jersey to Florida. I know, it involved a lot of hard work, many steps to make sure that the new construction home was up to the mold standards, and so yeah. So if you can give us a little information on what made you plan to move, and what were the various steps involved to make sure everything went smoothly.
Okay, well, our biggest factor for moving was we always kind of knew we were going to come to Florida. It was just timing wise, but the cards fell perfectly, and my husband wound up getting a transfer. But our biggest push was Grayson. Our house, as I don't know if you remember, we had a very strenuous mold situation. We've spent a lot of money trying to figure out where our mold issue was coming from, remediated our entire house, and still our numbers weren't coming back where we wanted them to be. And of course, living in New Jersey, the houses are older. Our house, I believe, was built in the 50s, early 50s.
I see.
And there was a lot of renovation done to it. When we moved in, it was pretty much fully renovated, kitchen, floors, roof, AC unit, everything, but we still had a problem. So we kind of like had it. We were like, you know what are we going to do? It's the height of the market where you sold high, but you also bought high. So we're like, where do we go? Let's try to move to Florida. Let's make that move happen sooner. We could get a new construction. We can work with the builders. We can literally plan everything as perfectly as we can for Grayson's health as well, as well with my husband as well. He had a lot of the same medical issues as Grayson, like with the mold sensitivities and dye restrictions and just so many other things going on. So when we moved, we found a builder. It was perfect, called Richmond American. Well, I don't want to name drop.
Right. No. I was going to ask you that actually. So you found a builder that had not yet started building your plot. right? Your land.
Exactly.
So, okay, yes. So you had a chance to work with him, like literally from foundation up.
Yes, we did. We did. So, but they're a big developer. So what they do is they build a lot of properties, but we specifically like them because we can customize everything with them, pending, of course, you have the money for it. And for that, for Grayson's Health, we spared no expense. Like we try to do as much as we can right off the bat so we can give him the best opportunity for his health.
So, Cynthia, sorry to interrupt, but I had to ask this question because I know everyone is going to be wondering. So you did your due diligence. You found a developer who was willing to work with you, and so how did it start? Like, did you go and say, this is the kind of foundation we want? This is the kind of so what customizations? How did you explain to your builder?
Okay, well, I wish my husband was here so he can tell you because he really took like the reins on that one. But he did his research, found the developer, and we took the time. We took for about 4 or 5 days, traveled to Florida, and we met with them. We saw their process. They explained everything to us, even down to elevation, because, with water, moisture, elevation is a big factor. And it met our criteria for everything. One thing, I wish Alex was here because he really knows he took the reins on that one. I kind of just let him have it. I was more so of like the interior and like, what do we do with the
Yes.
vents, the walls, the gardening aspects and, things like that. But yeah, if he was here, he would do a better job of explaining it. He knows the exact terms of what was the substance or the chemical, if you will, that they used for the 2x4s to build it. It was I believe it's a cinder block foundation, and then they sealed that, and then we have this is a stucco or concrete, one or the other that surround it before they painted it and did everything else.
Okay.
So
Right. And I've heard this from other patients as well that the 2x4, the studs, right?
yeah,
So it is still a wood frame house.
yeah,
It's still
inside.
a wood frame inside, yes. And then outside you have concrete and stucco.
Yeah, so you have like the cinder blocks, like those big cinder blocks, and
Yes,
then
beautiful.
on the
Yes.
outside it's coated with a different material. I want to say it's concrete. I'm not, like I said, Alex really knows, but it's a concrete mixture on the front, and then they lay I believe this is the stucco and then the color.
And then the color on top of it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So what happened was you made sure that there was no water intrusion coming in during the heavy rains or hurricanes or whatever, right?
It's funny you mentioned that because when we were getting our house built, there was a hurricane last hurricane season, and
Oh,
our house it had the walls up, it even had the sheetrock up, but we were missing our back door, which is pretty wide. It's like the whole span of our living room, and we didn't have a garage door. So we were very, very on top of it. And luckily, the builders that we went with, they were very understandable. They were very quick to respond. We actually checked our house the day after the hurricane, and thank God, no water, except for in one place, but that was when you have a vent in your bathroom, they didn't have the cap over it. So we
yeah.
asked them completely remove that area. We took pictures of it and said, you need to remove it. We need to get a mold remediator. We need to get ahead of this, but we're not going to do anything until you have our door and our garage door in. And they were extremely accommodating. They did it right away. And even upon closing, me and Alex still didn't feel comfortable. Like, we need to get our own person to come in, and everything was good. No mold, no water damage, no anything. So we were that strict about it. Like, we did not care. We were
Yes.
like, it rained, let's go check the house. There was a hurricane, let's go check the house. And they were very accommodating. We could go into the property, construction hat and everything, and walk in, and they were very accommodating. It was a long process. It was a long 8 months, to say the least.
Overall 8 months, right? No, it's really important for people to understand that it's not you shouldn't be taken in by a developer who is willing to, accommodate all your needs, and then at the same time, his turnaround time is like a month. I mean, how is that possible? I would rather have a developer who takes his time, and so
Yeah.
that things are being done. One other good point that you mentioned was the Florida hurricane that happened in the middle of your build, and your due diligence, you noticed that something got damaged, right? The vent to the bathroom, the cap was left open. So you actually had the builder take out
Yes.
that area and rebuild that section so that you know that there is no concern there. And your builder was able to do that. He was cooperative, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm thinking, that Alex must have had all of this already in the contract, that hey, this is for my child,
Yeah.
and this is what, if we need to redo something, we will.
Yeah,
That's
we
what.
did. Yeah, we made sure that mold criteria was very present and obvious, no mistaking it. We were very clear about it. I mean, they probably we probably drove them nuts with as many times as we were contacting them, visit our property, but we're like, listen, we're spending the money on it. We uproot our entire lives. We have to give it 100%. If not,
Yes.
what's the point?
Were they responsive when you contacted them? I mean, it must have been more than any routine new buyer, right? So when you called and requested updates, right, were they responsive, respectful for that?
Oh yeah, they were really spot on with timing. If they didn't get back to me that day, they got back to me the next morning. They were
Okay.
very, really, really very good. Like I couldn't have enough good things to say about them. Even when we closed on our property and we had a few things here and there, they were still very much on it. Questions to like the AC unit, because we got an air scrubber to it too. So we had to ask questions about things like that, and like piping for some of the bathrooms, because there was plastic and we didn't ask for plastic. And they were on it. They were very good.
Okay. So you got special piping material for the pipes in your house?
Yeah, especially for the dishwasher. So, a lot of like these fast manufacturing companies, they just want to give you a lot of plastic materials for parts. And with water, especially a dishwasher, we had a dishwasher leak before, and who knows what that did in our house in New Jersey, if there was water behind the cabinets that we couldn't see. So when they were installing all of the appliances, we were there. And once I seen it, I was like, no, I didn't ask for that. Like, where's the proper metal pieces for it, or the stainless steel pieces? And they
Right.
did even though it wasn't the builder's mistake, it was more of the third party people installing the
The
appliances.
installing, yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So they kind of gave us a little bit of a hard time, but I didn't care. I was like, no, you have to change this. I'm not gonna have a few months down the road this break, and now I have an issue and I have to uproot this. No, no.
That was smart. Yes, but I remember when we were replacing our washing machine, the my mold inspector had given us that important thing, that make sure that the pipes are stainless steel, not the plastic ones.
Yes. Yeah.
So that makes sense. For the dishwasher, it makes additional sense. So you don't have that plastic leaching onto your dishes as well. So
Oh yeah.
right,
Yeah.
so that's another good way to get rid of toxins in the house.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, what else did you mention? Your
We did.
AC, your HVAC. You don't have heating. You just have AC.
Oh, we have heating too.
You have heating too? Okay.
Yeah. Florida gets cold. It does get cold.
It does. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we have, I mean, we did a lot of things. I mean, even so when we closed on the property as well, I'll back up a little bit. We didn't allow Grayson or even my husband. Like it was just me and my father in the house, and we cleaned that house from top to bottom with your formula. We dusted, and before closing on a new build, they send their cleaning agency to come
Yes.
in. But as you know, they use a lot of chemicals and things like that, and I don't believe in that. So yeah, we were appreciative of that, but we still went in, spent an entire day cleaning that house from top to bottom. And then the following week, I believe after that, then we got the AC, the HVAC company to come out. And we had to go with the same company so we don't void our warranty, because that's, part of their thing. We have to still go through their providers to keep our warranty. And we got an air scrubber and we got our ducts cleaned. Because I actually remember a podcast you did not too long ago where one of your previous clients had a new build and they had mold in their pipe, because I believe one of the construction workers left a bottle or something in there.
Yes, beer bottle.
Yeah.
An empty beer bottle in there. Goodness, I remember that. Yeah, good catch.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna clean that out. And so we did that as well. And then we actually had a leak in the bathroom. And it wasn't because of the piping or anything. It was because of the faucet that I chose had a gap apparently behind there. But even crazy little things like that I did. So change the faucet as well so it could be sealed so no water seeps through behind the cabinet. And an extra step that we did too, along the foundation of the property, we made sure the water would stream away as opposed to be flat. Because that's, a lot of these developers, the little things they'll kind of like let slide
Yes.
by. But I made sure I was like, I need that to slope away from the property. And so that was another thing we did, like before Grayson even stepped foot into that house. And we were a little bit out there, I feel like, because even when we were bringing all the things from New Jersey, I thought I had mold in my mind. I was like, all these things probably have mold spores on. No, probably they did. And they were in a warehouse because it took a month for our stuff to come, and we put it in storage and all these things. So I got rid of a ton of things, like as much as I could. And the things that we did keep, I sprayed with your formulation, and I also washed every single piece of clothing we had in borax, vinegar, and tea
Vinegar.
tree.
Yeah.
And did all of that. I mean, it was very strenuous, but I'm very happy that we did that because, like I said, Grayson, he did great. He's still sleeping through the night and he's learning new things every day. So he's doing really good. So I wouldn't have changed anything we did. I wouldn't have changed anything.
With one spouse having tick-borne infections, it was most probably a misdiagnosis for Grayson, because there would have been in utero transmission. In addition, being born into a house with mycotoxins, so it just compounds the issue, So that's pretty much what I'm thinking for Grayson. As you already know, we are both on the same page that it's looks like a misdiagnosis as he keeps making improvements.
Yeah. Oh, I know we're not here to talk about him, but one thing I do
Oh,
want
of
to say.
course. No, that's so important.
He's actually finally communicating. Like it's not
Wonderful.
100% vocally, it is still through his iPad, but I remember we scratched our heads so often. It's like, why isn't he, communicating? Like, I know he understands it, but he can't show us. And he is like, he's saying, I love you, what he wants. He's saying to share with his sister. Literally, I swear it's like from one day he wasn't doing it. Next day, we're like, oh my God, we can't get enough of it. He does understand. I told you he's doing really good. He's doing good right now. Hyper, but he's really good.
He's verbalizing more.
He's still trying a whole lot. It's not
Okay.
clear to, like, let's say if somebody off the street, talk to him, they still will probably have some trouble with it. But me and my husband completely get it. We understand, we're getting it, and he's saying, and it's very nice to see. Very nice.
Yes.
To say the least.
He's taken every child does this. Everyone takes their own little route to wellness.
Yeah.
And Grayson's route has been that One thing I was extremely happy that I saw last time when I met him on his appointment video call, that thank goodness his growth is not affected. He's growing, he's thriving, he's doing well, because many children on the spectrum, misdiagnosed or not misdiagnosed, but many have growth issues, height and weight, and or one may have no height issues but weight, and vice versa. And growth is a big challenge for in my practice for almost 60% of children diagnosed on the spectrum. And I was happy to see that. Now with Grayson, that seems to be the way his body wants to go. He's made a lot of other improvements as well. So perhaps the clear speech will come a little bit later for him.
Yeah, I strongly believe that with every fiber of my being, especially like I said, from one day to now. And it's like, what happened? What is going on? What did I miss? What's happening here?
Yeah.
So it's very nice, and it makes everything that we're doing worth it, even though it is a marathon
Oh,
we
yeah.
went through many ups and downs. This move is literally where we saw the most best. I mean, down from sleeping through the night, potty trained, vocalizing more, eating more, being completely almost independent. He still has trouble putting on like two, pair of pants, like one leg at a time. But like he knows, like we tell him, get your shirt, he'll get his shirt, get your pants, like he's identifying. So he has a long way, yes, but he's come so far from the kid. And to your point before, yeah, he's growing beautifully. He is big. He's like, oh, he's so big. I think it's his Alex.
Yes, wonderful. That's
But
great.
yeah, but I remember he used to look like he's have so like big eye bags and like brittle
Yes.
hair, and his skin used to not be so, but thank God that's definitely one of the first things that improved with him.
Health-wise, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he has his own little journey
Yeah.
with Brian. Yeah, with Brian, once his medical, his paralysis, his excruciating pain, body aches, once those subsided, we actually his body moved towards cognitive development.
Mm,
The
perfect.
physical was majorly lagging behind. No, to the point of him being skeletal.
Wow. Okay.
So that was our journey with
Yeah.
Brian. And finally, I believe it wasn't until age 14 almost that his weight stabilized, and we started
Wow.
to gain weight and look kind of back to normal
Yeah.
in that department. However, cognitively, he had around age 11 and a half, he was fine.
Yeah.
That happened way before
Hmm.
his physical growth. So many children, that happens as well. Physical growth comes much later. Other skills come earlier. I had a 4-year-old in the UK who literally just burst into speech.
Yeah.
So and whereas everything else, still hyperactive, still not sleeping through the night, still not
Wow.
potty trained, but then blah 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 blah. Hey, what just happened?
Yeah, everybody's healing journey is different. There's no two that you can compare. And I know Grayson's on his path because we see changes in him every so often. Like it's nice. I don't know if you remember, but I even talked that I'm starting to journal things for him. Where before I just stopped because there wasn't anything to journal. And now it's like, oh, Grayson learned how to use a scissor. Grayson learned how to say I love you. And so it's like it's little things that are constantly happening. So it's really nice. He's using his iPad more appropriately, and he's learning what he wants more, and he's being more independent. It's like it's constant little things. Granted, what every parent that has a child diagnosed with autism wants. They want that miracle. They want that quick, healing. But I see it with Grayson. It's happening. It's a marathon. It's taking its time, but it It is what it is. It's happening though. As long as it's happening, I'm happy. And all because of you, Dr. Dashore.
Oh, I
It,
mean,
it
when
is.
you
It
say
is.
that, it
And
leaves me speechless. I don't have any words.
it is. And we did many, many other treatments with him. And by far, hands down, I won't ever try to do anything else.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this was, I'm sure it's going to be very helpful. You know, we are renovating a little one bedroom little place for Brian near his school, and you know, so that his commute to school is less, and because med school is just, oh my gosh, you know, I'm sure, you
I,
know,
I bet.
you're in the field, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
the first few years are just so incredibly stressful,
Stressful. Oh, yeah.
the first couple of years especially. So yeah, so they're right in it right now. He's in the fourth year in a 7-year accelerated program, and this is we said, you know, we should do something for him, bring him closer to school. So we are renovating a place, you know, a small little apartment, you know, a little bachelor pad for him.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm going to share that story. Oh my gosh, what a journey. You know, we had it belonged to a 85-year-old feisty lady. And
Mhm.
I think she fell or something, and she went to live with her daughter. So that's why she sold it. And you know, when she heard who it was going to, she was very sweet. You know, we got a good deal and all of that, and then we found a contractor who helped another patient of mine on Long Island uh, renovate their home. I forget if it was a hometown home, whatever, you know, but so the contractor was known to someone, because you
Mhm.
know, otherwise it's New York City. I mean, you know, you can get ripped off like so
Oh, yeah.
easily.
Mhm.
So I'll be taking videos and photos and speaking about it once the project is done. Like before, in the middle of a complete gut reno,
Mhm.
you
Oh
know,
man. Yeah.
yeah, we actually found a slow leak behind the kitchen cabinets, but you know, yeah,
Because of the
leaks
contract.
below the AC. Exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that too, because now that it's been almost a year that we've been in our house, we're looking to do clean our vents again. We're looking to get the HVAC people to come out there, make sure everything's working properly. Because you know, we don't know. We hear the
Yes.
buzzing, but we want it to be working more efficiently. We're gonna run our mold test just to make sure our numbers are really low where they were at before. We still deep clean our house every single month. To the point where it's like the kids know now, you know, trying to get Grayson more involved now, but he's like, no, I just want to play. But yeah, we still deep clean our house. We still, you know, wash our clothes in the same solution you gave us, everything. This might be more me thinking a little too much into it, but I also want to get a new washer machine just because I'm like, maybe we should get a new one. We wash all the Jersey stuff in it. Maybe maybe we should, but that's just me being my husband thinks I'm like so silly for thinking. He's like, it works, it's fine. Don't worry about it. We made sure it was a top loader too. That was a big one.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're thinking of doing these things again really soon, just to really make sure we're on top of everything, you know.
That's really good. That's you know, no, I mean, go with your instincts. Plus you're, you know, you're a healthcare practitioner yourself.
Yeah.
So you understand the ins and outs of it, you know, more than someone who is not in the healthcare field would understand. I remember we had a chiropractor who also moved to Florida, by the way. And yeah, and she was, you know, a female chiropractor. So what she did was, because herself and her son were the most affected, her
Mhm.
husband wasn't. So she would make sure that you know, anytime Joe came back from work, he would, you know, strip in the mudroom,
Wow, okay, yeah.
and she had a robe for him and everything, you know, and then he would come in, because his job was such that he would be in different buildings throughout the day, and she would just make sure that that stuff wasn't coming home. Take the shoes, socks, whatever.
Oh
She
yeah.
said, yeah, she said, in the summertime, she even has an outdoor shower.
Oh wow, that's something to think about actually. Now, Alex travels a
Oh,
lot
no,
of
no,
those.
no. Oh my gosh. No, no, no. Don't tell him I gave you that idea. Well, I'm planning on doing that as well, in my place. Yeah. When I move to Texas, right? So there's going to be outdoor showers. Oh yeah. Don't come in otherwise.
I I know you might laugh, but Alex, he travels roughly once a month to different locations, and
Okay.
I tell him like, "You coming in? Your shoes." Well, we always take our shoes off, but so I'm like, "Leave your luggage there, leave your book bag there, spray it down,
Yes.
hop in the shower, wash your hair, and then you could get in it or say hi to the kids or whatever." But
Yes.
until then, I'm like, "No, there's spores everywhere." I remember traveling from Jersey to Florida, how strenuous it was for me and Grayson. I had his portable air purifier. I had the 2 EOS spray everywhere. I sprayed every. People probably were like, "What is this crazy person doing?" But I didn't care. I sprayed everything. I even wanted to get him like the EMF clothing, like the lead line shirt and
Yes.
shorts.
Yeah.
But I didn't see any for kids for his size because he was, 4 at the time. So I didn't, no, he was 5. Yeah, I think. Yeah, no, he was 4. Sorry. The thing is that there was none for his size, so we're like, all right,
Right.
none for him. But yeah, we're very strict about all things mold, all things, everything really.
That's basic, yes. Even when I order from Fresh Direct or whatever, from any kind of delivery, everything is by the front door. The front door, I have an indoor outdoor rug
Hmm.
that's there, so it can be easily mopped up. It can be
Yeah.
mopped. I don't have to put the rug in the, in the washing machine. We don't have any other rugs in the house.
Hmm.
So that's there. And anyone brings any kind of deliveries from their gross truck, it stays there. The groceries are brought in, and then everything is wiped down. Same thing with luggage, just like you mentioned. We
Yeah.
just yes, all vacation luggage comes right on that, right by the front door. I usually keep my storm door open. The
Okay.
front door is open. Storm door has a screen.
Yeah.
So you have the breeze coming in, and then we open the patio door, so there's cross ventilation. And then,
Hmm.
I just give my luggage a good scrub down all
Yeah.
around. And all the clothes go straight into the washing
Wash.
machine with the borax and what have you. The shoes get sanitized at the bottom. I use like 7th generation to just spray.
Hmm.
I've got a boot tray, and I just let them sit there, and it's fine. And then
Yeah.
on top of the shoes, I spray the EOS. It doesn't damage anything, and
Yeah.
it works well. So it's a process, and you
Yeah.
can do everything. You can travel, but there's just precautions. That's all.
Exactly. Oh, and one thing you mentioned that reminded me. So we donated actually a lot of our furniture from New Jersey. And
Okay.
because I didn't want to take any of the fabric, I didn't want to take any of our couches, any of our mattresses. I didn't want to take any of that. So we donated a lot of it. But when we moved into our house, everything was new. And I was afraid of VOCs, even though we got organic mattresses. And even though they say it's cleaner, we still let it air out for 6 weeks. My mom's house was a mess. We had all of our furniture, everything. I'm sorry, I need to let it air out. I can't bring this in with Grayson. So even to that extreme, we did it because Grayson is so sensitive, so sensitive. If I would have brought him into that house, he probably would have been in full flare up.
That's what I'm planning. I'm planning on building not a 2-car, but a 3-car garage. The house is going to be tiny, but the garage is going to be, twice
Yeah.
the size of the house, I think.
I wish we would have spoken about that sooner
So
because I
that
was telling us we need an extra outdoor space.
So that's what I'm planning on doing. So anything extraneous, like paper goods and what have you. So I'll be chronicling the whole thing as well, how it comes about. I'm once this Long Island project is over for my son, then I can take a breather. I've got a couple conferences I need to speak at. Once that is done, then I'm proceeding with my land purchase, and then moving on from there and getting things started. I've got 4 years, well, 3.5 now, to finish my build.
Okay.
So that's plenty of time. Little by little, it's going to be a mud house. So the garage doesn't have to be a mud garage. It's only the living quarters. The garage will be standard, stainless steel or whatever. I don't know if they build stainless steel. What do I know?
Yeah.
But metal.
Oh, I know.
Garage can be, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I did see that. There's a house being built around us on a huge piece of land, and they have, instead of having the wood, then they have like the metal beams. And I was like,
beams, yes.
I was like, that's interesting. I didn't even know you could do that.
Well, yes, you can, because all commercial construction has metal studs.
Oh, see,
right? You can, yes.
So, see, like I said, a lot of that construction stuff, Alex took the reins on, and I was just more so, what am I going to do inside? Furniture, air quality, water. We got a water filtration system. What's the land, the water, irrigation, gutters. That was me. He took care of the builder.
That's good. No, irrigation, gutters, those are really important to make sure that the size of the gutters and the downspouts matches the size of the house, because many times builders will scrimp on those things. Like they'll have like a small minimum size gutters and downspouts, whereas you actually need a medium, considering it's Florida and it's a big house. So things like that. So I'm glad you did. Yeah. I'm also planning on a barn. So it's going to be like, a lot of acreage. So we are going to need a barn for the animals.
That's going to be beautiful. I wish. Alex, it's a little too extreme for Alex. I told him, I was like, I wish I could find many acres, build my house, and then have my own farm that live off the grid. I would love that, but he's too much of a city guy.
Well, you must come visit then. You must bring your family, your mom, and come visit, because no, it's not going to be off grid. I'm still going to be helping people. I'm still going to have satellite connection and whatnot. But more or less it'll be a homestead. As much self-sustainable as I can make it. But so that's the plan, to air everything out in my giant barn before it comes inside. And it's going to be very minimalist. I'm not planning on anything fancy.
Yeah, that's the way
I donate.
I was very happy you gave me that advice and that guidance, because I remember I asked for a 15-minute appointment. I feel like I was being a little crazy, but I really wanted to make sure I was doing everything and anything I could for my son and my husband, which he's almost perfectly fine now. It's just still working on Grayson, but I would be kicking myself if I didn't. So as annoying as it might be to constantly be on like the builders and the developers and things like that, and worrying about furniture and what you're going to do with it, and worrying about which company you're going to call to service whatever it is, it's worth it. At the end, we're finally like becoming stable, and it's all worth it. It's all worth it, especially to see the improvements that we see in our son. It's all worth it.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. And you should not hesitate to keep contacting your builder, your contractor, send messages, go there, visit, text them, ask for photos and videos. I mean, you can ask nicely, but you have to make them understand right at the start, like what's at stake, because most people don't get it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get it. A lot.
Right. So good. I think, you guys did an amazing job with the whole move. And yes, like you said, you're still young. You worked hard for about a year and a half to get everything done, but it's done now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It was now thinking back, it's like, how did we do that? How do we have the time? How did we sleep? What did we do?
I know.
But it is, it's all worth it. You just have to do it. You just can't even think about the work. You just have to do it. And that's it.
Yes.
You know.
One step at a time. Keep
Yes.
going.
Exactly. Yeah, we are. And we're doing a lot of outdoor things, which is another plus to moving to Florida. Like in Jersey,
Yes.
we were stuck in the house throughout the winter. And over here, like Grayson, he learned how to swim. He loves the ocean. We try to go to the beach as much as we can so he could, ground and like be in the fresh air and everything. And he's loved it. Like even his skin color, I didn't know he can get so tan. Like I know I am tan, but people that don't know my husband, he's Polish and Irish, and Grayson takes after him, and he has a lot of color. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know. I had no idea you could tan this well. And he is just relish. He is flourishing in everything over here. So if take the build and everything aside, just moving down here for the weather and the vitamin D and outside, he's doing amazing out here. And all the grass-fed food. We have so many farms out here that offer grass fed and grass finished. And Grayson he's eating too much at this point. So like he can't get enough of it, which you can't tell because he's very fit. But I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us again. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. Anything that I can do to help, I will.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was Cynthia for us. Wasn't that such a wonderful, heartwarming, inspiring story to hear, wasn't it? Yeah, she's such a wonderful mother, and such a beautiful human being overall. So I'm sure we will have her back, once Grayson is making additional progress that she can share. I mean, Cynthia shared a little bit of Grayson's progress with us today as well. All right, so that brings us to the end of today's podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to subscribe, don't forget. And I will see you right back here on another episode of Autism Uprooted BioNexus Health Podcast. Be well. Namaste.
Thank you for joining Master Herbalist Dr. Jodie Dashore, Director of the BioNexus Health Clinic and BioNexus Herbals, on the BioNexus Health Podcast, where we explore and share information and stories about recovering and healing from chronic and environmental illnesses such as mold biotoxin illness, Lyme disease, autism spectrum disorder, fatigue, Crohn's and colitis, mast cell activation syndrome, PANS, and more. Please help us grow our message by subscribing to our podcast channel and sharing the podcast on your social networks. For more information, visit bionexushealth.com.
Information within this video, audio, or text, collectively known as the podcast, has not been reviewed by the FDA. Nothing within the podcast is intended as or should be construed as medical advice. Information is for general informational and educational purposes only. Consumers of the podcast should consult with their healthcare practitioners for medical recommendations. Seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider. Do not disregard the advice of a healthcare provider based on any information from the podcast. The information within the podcast may contain information concerning dietary supplements or over-the-counter products that are not drugs. Our dietary supplement products are not intended for use as a means to cure, treat, prevent, diagnose, or mitigate any disease or other medical or abnormal condition.